I just wanted to give you a little sample of the types of things that we'll be doing on June 3rd at Leap Yoga. One of the biggest requests that I have is to get some help in the lower back area, hips area, sacrum area. So I'm just going to tap into that a little bit. So we're going to use a ball. It could be a yoga tune-up ball or a tennis ball. I wouldn't suggest anything harder than a tennis ball. So if you need information on the type of balls that I recommend, please go ahead and reach out. So I would just say go ahead and lay down on your back and use this single ball and place it right underneath your right glute. So right in the middle of the fleshy part of your right glute. So that's where we're going to start, single ball under the glute. And we'll bend the knees and we're going to go ahead and start to drop the right knee out and in. Now, typically before I start doing any type of myofascial release work, we come into a grounding state. So just taking a few moments to arrive in the space with some breath work. This practice works the best if you are really tuning in to your body and your breath, and even focusing on extending your breath, particularly the exhale. So coming into a parasympathetic state, a rest, digest, recover state is going to be most beneficial. So I'm continuing to drop my right knee out and in. So if you're feeling really anxious right now, maybe just take a few moments to just come into some breath before you start with this work. And then speaking of the breath, it is so incredibly important to notice if you are holding your breath while you are doing this work. If you're holding your breath because it's really, really painful, please move the ball up, down, left, right. If that's still not going to be giving you enough relief to allow you to feel something, but not be gritting your teeth or holding your breath, then there's things you can do. You can add an extra mat underneath you. You can come onto a carpeted surface, or you could stand up and use the wall, change your relationship to gravity. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. So go ahead and move that ball, if you're still working with me, up. So it's at the very top of your glute now. So right where the hip bone is, so the very, very top of the glutes. I'm not on my lower back. I'm still on my gluteal muscles. The fascia is being addressed here. So what we're doing here is hydrating the tissue. Again, check in. Is it enough? Is it too much? If you're not feeling anything, then you need to move it also. So it should be something. You should be experiencing something. And it should be, it's that Goldilocks kind of concept. A little more would be too much, a little less, not effective, not enough. So find just enough. So it's interesting. I know I'm affecting the tissue, but I am not creating anxiety. I am not feeling like I'm in an emergency situation. If it is all like that, we need to back it off. So we're not trying to create anxiety here. We're trying to de-stress. We're trying to come into that recovery state as we do this work. And then go ahead and move that ball back towards the middle of the glute, but then out to the right more. So it's on the outer glute. And again, the right knee falling out and in and out and in. I'm just trying to relax the rest of my body here. So I'm not creating tension in my neck. If my neck isn't comfortable on the ground, maybe I need a pillow under my head or a towel. We tend to kind of live in this hunched over position now, unfortunately, with all the sitting at desks and cars and computers and whatnot. So many of us, our upper back is so rounded that our head won't touch the ground. If that's the case, please put something under your head for support. So again, just knee falling out and in and out and in. And then we're going to move the ball to the middle of the glute again. And you have two options. The knee can fall out to the right and leave it there. and shimmy your hips side to side. So it's like a little hula dance. Or if it's easily accessible, your right ankle can cross over your left thigh and shimmy side to side. So I mentioned that you could also take this to a wall, and this is a great option. So I take these when I travel so that if I'm tense from sitting or just the travel itself can be a stressful situation, doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to lay down on the floor in the airport or the hotel. So I will just find a wall space and I just do a similar thing. So I'm just shimmying my hips side to side. And I could even do kind of the knee movement. So it's called pinning and stretching. So we pin the ball in a location and then move the limb. So you could do that. You could shimmy side to side. Now, if you're at the wall, you can do a lot of other things. You can make circles. You can go up and down. And again, this is just going to create a situation where I am not putting quite as much pressure. I mean, I can still put a pretty decent amount. I can really press in there, but I don't have to. I can really take the pressure off if I needed to have less. So don't be afraid to use a wall instead of the floor, or again, come to a carpeted surface or 1 or 2 yoga mats will absorb some of that pressure. All right, so my favorite thing to do is to combine myofascial release work with some mobility work. So we're going to go ahead and cross that right ankle over the left thigh without the ball. Now I've removed the ball. If you're standing, come to the floor now. And then we start to move the hips and the knees side to side. Now you're going to find a range that feels appropriate for you in your hips and your back. So we're getting a little bit of movement in here, a little stretching, but with movement. So you notice I'm not doing an isometric hold. I'm actually dynamically moving. I am doing mobility work here versus, quote, flexibility work. They are different things. So I say it's my favorite thing, but it's also been proven by science that the combination of the rolling, the myofascial release work, and some stretching, particularly mobility type stretching, is the most effective for long-term results. So you're going to have a longer lasting effect by doing the combination of the two. All right, so we're going to go ahead and switch to side number 2. We want to make sure we're even. So placing the ball under your left glute, right in the middle, and that left knee falls out and in and out and in. And you see this is, something that takes a little bit of time. I'm not rushing through this. So ideally you're doing an area for minimally 90 seconds, but you could do it up to 5 minutes. And if it's a big area like your glutes, it could even be longer. It could even be 10 minutes. I really could actually spend 10 minutes on one whole cheek because it's a large surface. So the knee is going out and in, check in, notice, is that okay? Am I holding my breath? Am I creating tension? Am I feeling like it's an emergency? If it is, please move that ball a little left, a little right, a little up, a little down. So the nice thing about these glutes and getting them woken up, the fascia woken up, is that it's going to help create support for the back. So if these glutes are asleep, they're not doing their job. So we're waking them up, hydrating them, allowing them to work more effectively, more efficiently. We're going to be supporting our backs, our hips, our knees. Oftentimes, if our glutes are asleep, they are not doing their job to support the knees. So this could help if you have knee issues. Let's move the ball now up to the top of the glute. So it's not on the lower back, just right at the very top of your glutes, knee falling out and in and out and in. So that's all well, not all, there's so many physical benefits of this work, but that's a few of them. We're hydrating the tissue in this area, again, helping the lower back, helping the hips, helping the knees. But there are also some energetic benefits. So if you're familiar with meridian lines, so that's the Chinese medicine, you could think acupuncture, acupressure. We are doing some of that with our myofascial work as well. So particularly when we're working on the hips, we're affecting two of the meridian lines, the gallbladder meridian line and the urinary bladder meridian line. Both of those are being affected and stimulated by this work. Let's go ahead and move that ball back to the middle, but then out to the left. So it's more on the outer glute. Now this can be tender, so really pay attention if it's too much, if it feels like it's, creating an anxious situation, if you're feeling like you're coming into fight or flight, it is time to move it. It's not the right location. Move it a little away from that particular spot. It could be like a half an inch or a centimeter away from that place, and it'll be fine now. So if you have an injury, pay attention. Don't dig into there. We're not trying to break up scar tissue. What we're trying to do is hydrate the tissue so that it functions better. So our fascia, it is not only, it's connective tissue, it's the scaffolding for our body. It supports every organ, every nerve, every bone in our body. It also separates every part of our body. And it has 250 million sensory neurons in your fascial system. That's a lot. It's more than any other system in the body. So if your fascia is stuck, if your fascia is not sliding and gliding and functioning well, it's going to affect everything. Oftentimes, pain that we have is actually in the fascia, not the muscles. It affects our proprioception, which will affect our ability to balance. All right, so placing that ball back in the middle of your glute, ankle over thigh is one option, or just that left knee falling out to the left is another. Shimmy side to side. And I'm going to go ahead and get up and show you again how this could be done at the wall. I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but this practice to me is a life changer. I've been doing physical activity my whole life, but I have been a personal trainer for 30 years now. 30 years, hard to believe. And a yoga instructor for 15 years. I've been a massage therapist for over 25 years. And of course, I understood the benefits of massage, having given massage to many people. But I now find that people can help themselves, because who can afford a massage every single day? I mean, some people probably can, but most probably can't. But you can do this yourself. You're doing self-massage and very specific massage. You can find, what ails you, and you can specifically focus on an area that's going to help your body function better. So again, coming back to some of the energetic benefits, so affecting that bladder meridian. If you have bladder issues, of course, that can be associated with the energetic line of the bladder, but also there are emotions that can be associated with stuck energy in your bladder meridian. It can be a lack of energy. It can be feeling negative. Those are some of the things that are associated with your your bladder meridian being affected and stuck energy in there. Gallbladder also can be affected by this glute area that might be stuck energetically or physically. And that can be indecision, it can be resentment, and of course, problems with the actual gallbladder itself. All right, go ahead and set that ball off to the side and that left ankle crosses over your thigh. And we'll rock your knees side to side. So I'm moving now dynamically, getting a little bit of mobility into these hips and into the back a little bit. We're not intentionally trying to get a huge motion in the back. This is more about moving some of that energy, allowing those hips in front and in back to move a little bit. And as I mentioned earlier, the combination is exponentially more effective than just stretching alone or just rolling. So as you can see, that took, maybe 15 minutes or so. And it definitely is something that you want to take your time on. I wouldn't rush. Some is better than none, but if you can take your time, you're going to get a much longer lasting effect. So those are some of the kinds of things that we'll be doing on June 3rd at Leap Yoga. Of course, we're going to be affecting the whole body. I'll be doing another video later that will help with the neck and shoulder area and the vagus nerve, which is all through the front side of the body. All of these areas we'll be talking about on June 3rd at Leap Yoga. Additionally, we'll be talking all about the meridian lines. So physically and energetically shifting the whole body. I hope you'll join me. Please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching.